All right. Hope y'all are ready. Because we are live, baby. I had to fill in for Jeffrey, and I'm fired up today. I'm not going to tell you why, but I'm fired up for a lot of reasons, man. And Jeffrey's going to be here. Don't worry. Okay.
Yeah.
He's on his way. He chimed in for a second. He was in his car. He's like, man, I'm 5 minutes away from my hotel. I'm going to be there. Somebody counted in. I said, I got you. And Zach would have done it. Jhead would have done it. But I'm fired up today. So, Jhead, how's it going? Zach, how's everybody doing?
How about you?
How about you, brother?
How about you?
I know right. I'm doing better than Florida State. I'll put it like that. I'm not that bad, but I'm doing a little bit better than them.
You know, let's talk some playoff tonight for sure. I mean, obviously, we wanted this show to be on Auburn. We wanted to be about the Music City Bowl, Cam Coleman flipping. Any questions that you might have with regard to recruiting, but yeah, let's talk some playoff tonight, callers. If you feel the need, let's talk about Alabama. Let's talk about Florida State getting left out.
Yeah, we can talk about it. I got no problem with that. I will say this: let's not harp on it because, guys, I mean, the recruiting news. Is unbelievable. I really do think that recruiting might rule this show because we're coming up on signing day. You know, it's December 3rd right now. December 20th is your signing day. I mean, guys, we are in the home stretch, and the portal opens tomorrow. And I know there's going to be some portal questions. Obviously, grad transfers, anybody who has a head coach that's been fired, those are the guys that Auburn can talk to right now.
Yes.
Auburn's going to be talking to a lot of guys tomorrow. Okay. They're going to be putting some offers out. There's going to be some guys from Auburn hit the portal probably.
Yes.
So the storylines, I cannot imagine how many stories we're going to write tomorrow. It's going to be insane.
Well, and in the ensuing weeks, because while tomorrow may not, it takes 48 hours for a name to populate into the transfer portal. So if somebody comes about that decision today, they're not going to populate until Tuesday. So it may be a little bit of a wave, guys, as far as that goes, but stick with us because Cole, Jeffrey, Justin, the entire team is going to be dedicated to making sure that you are the first and foremost to receive that information. So I'm excited. I'm with you, Cole. We're over the pre-portal season, right? Like the pre-portaling that was going on, the scouting, the evaluating, all that stuff that gets done now. And now you're into actual portal season, which is the speed dating of recruiting. And like you said, National Signing Day, baby, because look, December now is the National Signing Day. I don't care about what happens in February. I mean, I do and I don't. But that's the signing day right now.
And let me quote our guy Kevin. I hope Kevin calls in tonight. How about Cam Coleman?
Ooh, how about him?
Kevin's on the call line. He's next.
Oh, yes.
Of course. So, yeah, Kevin's number 2 in the queue.
Well, I don't mean to steal your thunder there, Kevin, but we're going to talk about Cam Coleman tonight. Don't worry about that. I thought, I actually wrote the morning of his commitment that he probably was going to drag it out to signing day because that's what I was hearing. And he didn't. He didn't do that. He went ahead and made the move, and I was stuck in traffic in Birmingham trying to get to a game, so that was fun. It's never at a good time. You can expect it to not be at a good time, but that's how it goes. I think everybody was pretty fired up about that one. So I just want to get your thoughts, Jhead, real quick on Cam Coleman, as if we haven't talked about him enough. What do you think about all this?
Well, and then obviously I want Zach's input as well, but Cam Coleman, every bit of 6'3", 185 pounds, kind of a T. Higgins clone, if you will. Yep. Fantastic athlete on the outside. A guy that has the catch radius and probably it's the way he attacks the ball in the air, Cole. When you see it on his highlights, when you see him live in person, his ability to go up and absolutely snag it and the mitts that he has, man. And then the ability to do something with it after the catch. That's what reminds you of T. Higgins. Is that ability in the open field that he has when he actually has the ball, not just what he does before he gets it. So another featured outside wide receiver. I mean, look at this past season. And if you have Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson on the outside, even though they're young, you're completing a few more passes than you did this year. I mean, a good clip more than you did this past year. If you have them in the Iron Bowl, it's even a little bit of a different deal. A guy that can make plays in one-on-ones. Yeah. And Hugh Freeze does a phenomenal job of creating one-on-one matchups. But at the end of the day, a dude's got to be a dude, right? Like, he's got to go make a play. And these are two guys, and Perry Thompson, the aforementioned Cam Coleman, even Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Kane. Let's not forget those two guys either. Big, important parts of this class. Guys that can just make plays. And so the sky's the limit now for this class. You're number 11 in the national recruiting rankings. We discussed it earlier. You're going to need 2 blue chip guys to get into the top 10. I think they're close to pulling that off, guys. I mean, asking around behind the scenes, I think they feel like there's another blue chipper out there that could swing Auburn's way before National Signing Day. But, Zach, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder on that one. I mean, I of course, we can't watch every receiver in the class, but from the ones I've watched, he's probably my favorite in one-on-one situations where it's just who's the better guy, and I just got to go beat the corner for this jump ball. Cam Coleman's the dude in this class. And you look at the history of Auburn wide receivers, man, we know it's kind of a joke. I mean, we haven't had a 1,000-yard receiver since I was like born almost. That's tough to look at in the history of wide receivers. But you look at Perry Thompson right now, Cam Coleman, possibly a Ryan Williams flip. You look at a Bryce Kane, who's probably going to be a high volume slot guy. Man, we have a few options for guys who can go get 1K, especially if Walker White is what we think he can be at quarterback. This is by far the brightest Auburn has ever looked at wide receiver, at least since I was born. I mean, really and truly, when you look, like, let's just project 2-3 years down the road. If these guys become 75% of what we all think they can be, Auburn's going to be in a really, really good place in terms of athletes on the outside. Because let's just look at recent years. They had the guy like a Ryan Davis who could get you 120 plus catches, but he wasn't a guy that was an explosive play guy down the field. You had a little bit of that with Darius Slayton. Seth Williams showed flashes. You had Sammy Coates. Duke was up and down when he could get on the field. But really and truly, Auburn hasn't had a significant elite playmaker on the outside, and that's what you can get with Cam Coleman right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's 3 things that I don't worry about too much when Hugh Freeze is the head coach of your football team. I don't worry about the receiver room. I think they're going to be good. I don't worry about the quarterback room. I think the quarterback room's in good hands. And I don't worry about the defense. And I've given y'all my theory on this, on how Hugh Freeze is an offensive-minded head coach. Or excuse me, he's an offensive coach where he calls plays, defensive-minded guy where he's going, how can I put my defense in the best situations all game long? And he did it all year. That was priority number 1 in football games on the field, in my opinion, from going back and looking at everything. So if your quarterback room's in good shape, your receiver room's in good shape, the run game looks really good, defense, you know that they're going to be okay, I'd say things are on the right track.
I couldn't agree with you more. A head coach that understands complementary football, Cole. That's the thing, not exposing one weakness or the other, making sure that you're playing a complementary game. And the thing that you said that caught me that I wanted to include, guys, if you thought our rushing attack was good this year, now put featured players on the outside where you can't cheat the back and jam 8 in the box, okay? And you get spread out a little bit and see how much more green grass they're running into. It's liable to be an electric type offense. It may not necessarily be at the very beginning of next year, because if you're playing this many young guys, there's liable to be a learning curve. And I think we all expect there to be some portal additions on the outside as well, at least 1 or 2. But I'm with you, Zach. I mean, this probably not since you had Ricardo Lewis, Sammy Coates, and Duke Williams running in the slot have you had this talented of a wide receiver core, prospective wide receiver core on the Plains, man.
All right, Zach, as we're waiting on Jeffrey, we can go ahead and get in the phone lines. I'm sure we'll have a few callers tonight.
Yeah, for sure. We'll start here. Carter, you're live, man. We finally got to you, man. What you got for us tonight?
Gentlemen, Carter Mullen from Brookhaven. I just wanted to call in, and I just wanted to say, isn't it nice? We don't have to listen to no more dogs barking. You know what? Hey, they wish they were getting to bark up Cam Coleman's tree, but unfortunately they don't get to do that. So it's just so nice that we have talent. And guess what? Like y'all were saying, with the running backs having even more potency for years to come. Guess what? What is Georgia and Alabama going to do when we have 6'3" guys both on the outside, on both corners, and they got to worry about them? They can't just come up and jam us. They got to worry about Jarquez and them. And you know what? I love it. I think that's going to provide such a potent weapon for our offense. And I wanted to get y'all's take on how important you think it is that we got Cam Coleman this early, so that now we can focus on Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Beeman. And then I wanted to ask, what is the latest intel on Cohen Eccles?
Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Great
Good stuff, Carter. Love your contributions to the call-in show there, Carter. Okay, so his last question was about Cohen Eccles, correct?
Correct.
Let's talk about Cohen Eccles, because, man, he was at the Iron Bowl. That's a guy. Auburn's trying to get some more guys into that offensive line class to be with DeAndre Carter.
Yes.
He is what we believe the top high school offensive line target, Cohen Eccles, currently committed to A&M. In my opinion, I don't know how to read Cohen Eccles. Okay, I'm going to put it this way.
Fair.
Yeah, I do think that Auburn has a chance with him, a pretty good chance, by the way. I think he was blown away by the Iron Bowl. I think he's been in contact with Auburn for a long time. I mean, there's a lot of things here that make me go, Auburn could make this happen. But I'm telling y'all, one of the biggest things in this recruitment is proximity to home.
Yeah.
Which is not always the case. Some guys want to get out of home. They want to get away from home. But some are real close to their families. They want to do that. I think Cohen Eccles is that guy. And they're not going to get any slouches at A&M, okay? You got to remember, when a coach gets fired, yes, that helps the program trying to get that guy, but they're going to get good coaches, and they're going to do their very best. And I think a lot of the reason why Cohen Eccles is committed to Texas A&M is because of Texas A&M. Not Jimbo Fisher, but because of Texas A&M.
No, I'm with you, Cole. I mean, I think he's a legacy to Texas A&M. I think the coaching staff does matter, because you obviously have to have, you can't walk into a situation where you don't trust that person, or you don't have a relationship, or can see yourself playing for that person. But I'm with you that it is a smaller factor with him than it is with other guys, as it pertains to his status and potentially wanting to stay in the state of Texas. Now, that said, I think it's very clear it is Texas A&M and Auburn. We're not talking about a bunch of schools in the mix. Missouri has tried, but they're really a non-factor to the best of my understanding. So this is A&M and Auburn. The new head coach there, Mike Elko, really good football coach, hasn't recruited Cohen Eccles just yet. I've been kind of checking in on that one. I think they've reached out some, but there's not an offensive line coach yet. There's not an offensive coordinator there yet. He's probably got a lot on his plate with trying to do staff interviews and everything else. So this has opened the door for Auburn to kind of have free flow access to Cohen Eccles and really sell them on the vision. And for me, the sooner something happens with Cohen Eccles, the better. Okay. Because if this drags out to signing day, I don't like Auburn's chances here, because that's left the window open for A&M to formulate that relationship, just like we did with Keldrick Falk this time a year ago. And you saw how proximity to home played a difference in that recruitment.
Yeah, it did. That is a good example, Jhead, because proximity to home was important for Keldrick Falk. I want to say this too, Carter. I find it interesting that, not a good day for Auburn fans. Auburn basketball loses a somewhat close one to Appalachian State. Appalachian State kind of controlled the game, honestly. And then, of course, the playoff deal. And, no Auburn fan wants to see that. That's just part of it, right? But the expectations of getting a guy like Cam Coleman has got everybody on the bright side right now.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what happens, hey, if we can get a guy like Cam Coleman. See, to me, the turning point was Perry Thompson. that was when it clicked in my mind, like, okay, so you can do that. You can flip a guy that Alabama does not want you to flip, right? So Cam Coleman just furthers that, man. And I do want to heed warning when you have expectations like that. You got to be careful because expectations can get way up here when things may still be right here. Okay, and these guys are going to be freshmen next year. Okay, yeah. Very important to remember. But keep us going there, Zach.
So I think Kevin dropped off, so we'll go to 5960. You're live.
Bring it on.
No introduction needed.
No.
What's going on, man?
Hey, there he is. What's up, Big Edward?
I'm dealing with these Alabama fans.
Yeah. God bless you, brother.
Man, how big was that 4th and 31 looking back at it?
It's our fault. Like, we have to blame ourselves for watching Alabama in the playoffs. It's really Auburn's fault.
We put them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We put them in the playoffs, man. And the thing about it, my heart breaks. Little secret about him. Up until the national championship game we played Florida State, I always been a fan of Florida State. I always loved myself in Florida State. Always have, man. Peter Ward, man, them guys, Warwick John, oh man, that was Auburn was my primary, and Florida State, that was always my secondary team up until the national championship. I ain't got the same love for them, but you had about 120 guys, man, scholarship, non-scholarship, that bust their tails this summer, 100-degree heat, man, to put themselves in a situation like they was in today. Just a chance. Just to give themselves a chance. Now, here's my thing with this. You know, you punish the whole team, the whole school, the whole conference because of one man get injured. Well, what about the other 120, 119? When you look at it, their defense was always the strong part of their team. And for you to say, well, they wouldn't compete with none of those teams that's in the playoffs, that's a lie. That's a lie. Neither one of those teams in the playoffs will blow Florida State out, man. Florida State defense is legit. Jared Verse is a man child. That defense is legit. May be the best in the country. Nobody stole 30 points on them all year. You saw that same defense. Not what Travis did. You saw that same defense. Totally shut down Jaden Daniels in LSU. I mean, they shot them down. Period. Shot down. But for you to punish that team like that, man, I don't think that was right. But it just shows you the amount of politics that's involved in college football. One reason why, you know, the SEC, Auburn did it to themselves because they had a chance to prevent all this from happening. But I'm excited about Cam Coleman, Cole. I like that, man. I like Cam Coleman. I like Perry, you know, but we can get Ryan. I love it. But my guy, I'm telling you, man, I love that Bryce Kane, man. I think that, well, that was getting Cam Coleman, if that benefited anybody, it benefited Bryce Kane the most, man. You put that guy in the slot with Perry on one side and Cam on the other side, and no way you can double team that 4-3 speed in the middle of the field. Oh my God, man.
I'm with you, Edward.
Jeremiah Cobb 2 years from now, man. Oh my God, man. We just got to get these guys, like you just said, Cole. We got to get these guys time to develop, and Auburn fans don't expect them to come out and be world beaters next year. They still babies, man. They got to mature. SEC is a different monster. They ain't going up against China like what they haven't seen, but I'm confident they gonna make some plays next year. But you know, don't get down on them when they don't come out and look like you think they should look. Don't get down on them and go to making crazy posts on the corner. Stop doing that kind of mess, man. Let the kids be kids. Let them develop. You're gonna have some hell of a football players.
Yep.
Future bright, man. I got to use some of Gus' words. Future bright.
That's right. That's absolutely right, Edward. Well,
I
always
ain't gonna
good
hold up
stuff.
too much of your time, man. I know y'all got a lot of calls on the line. Definitely, man. Be on time for work. What the hell are you doing? Leave them deals alone. Get to work.
And we
Yeah.
we'll get on him just for you, brother. And look, you're never wasting our time.
Be work on time. I called on 3 and 7 and 5 and come on to work, man. I had your spot this week.
Get him, Edward.
Happens to the best of us.
Man, y'all have a good night.
You too, brother.
Appreciate you, Edward. Listen,
someone in the chat said Jessica must have put ice in his milk. That's why he didn't tonight.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. All right.
Now,
So
Edward had some. Oh, go ahead, Cole. I'm sorry.
no. I have one main opinion on the playoff deal, and like I said, don't want to harp on this too much because this is an Auburn show. Auburn's. There's things we got to worry about with Auburn right now with the portal and signing day.
Sure.
But my opinion on the playoff thing, I don't think anybody in the world is looking at this and going, Florida State beats Bama head up. Nobody's looking at it that way. There's a very important principle here that's being overlooked, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Doesn't mean anything. An undefeated team took care of their business.
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest thing to me, and this is my one opinion on it. This is why we have a 12-team playoff coming.
Definitely.
I just don't look. We can still be friends if you don't like the 12-team playoff, but I don't know how to even reason with you. I don't know how to wrap my head around not wanting a 12-team playoff. I don't understand that. A 12-team playoff says, hey, Florida State, if you think you deserve to be there, go win. Hey, Alabama, if you think you're supposed to be there, go make it happen. Here's your opportunity. Georgia, hey, you lost last night. You still going to have a chance because we think you're one of the 12 best teams in the country, and you can win this thing. That's what you're about to have. That's what it should be right now.
I agree. I mean, look, I'll do you one better, Cole. It's going to go to 16, and then they're going to scale back to 11 regular season games, or they're going to do away with championship games. One of the two.
Yep.
And that's coming, guys. I can promise you that. But my opinion on the playoff, I think there are 5 deserving teams to be in the playoff this year. I honestly believe that. I think Alabama is deserving to be in the playoff. I think Florida State is deserving to be in the playoff. To me, though, putting Alabama in over Florida State, and this is not a shot at Alabama, you're trying to predict what you think will happen, right? And what did we see in championship game weekend? Upset after upset. Alabama was a 6-point dog or a 5-point dog to Georgia. Washington was a 9-point dog to Oregon. There were upsets all weekend, guys. And so for me to see a team get penalized for handling their business and doing what had to be done, not what you think they can do, what they did do, versus Alabama losing to Texas. And so Alabama's ceiling was always, what is Texas going to do? It doesn't necessarily sit right with me. And again, that's not me saying that Alabama doesn't deserve to be in the playoff. I'm with you, Cole. If
they are one of the 4 best teams in college football, no doubt.
Right. You know what I mean? But to put them in over a team that handled and scheduled up too. It's not like Florida State was ducking people. This is a team that wouldn't play LSU. They played Florida. They played Clemson. They played Miami. They played teams in their conference. It wasn't like they were a team that was scared to go out and play out of conference opponents.
Right.
So you just hate seeing a team like that get penalized. We'll see what they do against Georgia in the Orange Bowl. I hope that they win and then they have a real complaint about being left out of the playoff. And we'll see what Alabama does against Michigan because they didn't do Alabama any favors. Look, man, Michigan will be the best defensive line that Alabama has seen all year long, period.
Yeah.
They can control the line of scrimmage. Now, obviously, you've got a quarterback in Jalen Milroe that can do some things to get you out of your gap with his legs, but they got their work cut out for them in that game. And I'll be interested to see how that goes down in Pasadena. Zach, what's your feeling, man?
Yeah. I personally would have Florida State in, but
Yeah.
This was coming. If you listen to was it Boo Corrigan for the past 3 weeks, they've asked him about Jordan Travis's injury every single week. He said we discuss it, and it's not the 4 most deserving teams, it's the 4 best teams. And as soon as he said that, Florida State's it was written in stone that Florida State was not getting in no matter what they did.
And see, this is the part that I hate, right? And I want to give credit where credit is due, because I heard Neil McCready say this, and I think it's absolutely true. In the NFL, if Mahomes were to go down with an injury in the NFC Championship game, right? And the Chiefs still win the game, do the Chiefs not go to the Super Bowl, right? Like, they don't say, oh, no. So the Chiefs aren't the same team without Mahomes. So, yeah, hey, the team that just lost, guess what? You go to the Super Bowl instead. Like, sports doesn't work that way, right? And so the fact that you're saying that the games don't matter on the field and that you're going by the Vegas point spread, like, I'm with you that it was cast in what was going to happen. But this was a real slippery slope for the college playoff committee to get into. Now, it's not going to matter as much when you're arguing over who's 12. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to have the heartburn arguing for Ole Miss on the 12 seed, right?
No.
Like, whatever, dude. Hotty toddy and shut up and, go about your business. But this one really stings. Seeing a team go undefeated, win their conference, and then not be rewarded with a seat at the playoff. And again, that's no slight to Alabama. They're a hell of a football team, and they deserve to be there.
Especially because we saw the first year of the playoffs, Ohio State going to win with a third-string quarterback as well. Yeah. You go on to win the national title. No, I don't think Florida State's as talented as that 2014 Ohio State team with Zeke and all those guys. I mean, that was a ridiculous team. But it's disappointing. But I think the playoff committee thought they could get away with it because we're expanding next year. And at the end of the day, I don't think the blowback's huge. But Florida State should have been in. But the problem is they felt like they had to have an SEC team in. You can't put Georgia in.
Yeah.
You had to put Texas in, and therefore Bama is there.
I guarantee you they were praying for either Louisville to win last night or for Georgia to beat Alabama, and then you just take all the undefeated.
Yeah, right. Of course they wanted. They were like, please, because
they needed one of those two things to happen. Like, once Texas won, they needed either Georgia to beat Alabama or Florida State to lose to Louisville. You know what I mean? Like, one of those two had to happen.
I'd hate to be in their shoes because trying to pick 4 is almost impossible with what you got right now. That's why 12 is better, and I'll stay with that. I'll quote the late, great Mike Leach on this. I don't know why. I'm paraphrasing. I'm not actually quoting him, but he said this. He said, how is it that Division I college football is the only sport in the entire world? He said, you could go to a church league softball group. They can draw you up a playoff bracket in the sand with a stick. Why can't Division I college football figure this out?
Money, man. Money and lots of it. Jeffrey, welcome to the show, big dog.
Yay.
How's my mic?
You good, man?
Okay. Yeah, you're good.
All right.
You're good.
Have I missed anything?
I'm going to pass it off to you there, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Right. We talked Cam Coleman.
Okay.
We've talked the playoffs somewhat and what we saw on Championship Sunday. And Edward said you needed to get your ass to work. But other than that.
Yeah, Edward was on you now.
Was he?
He said, tell Jeffrey Lee, on 3 is going to be calling. I need some of my money back. Get to work on time.
One of my buddies, he brought his girl down, and she shot a deer, and I had to help him track it and pull it out, and so I was running a little bit late. My bad. I apologize, Edward. Hey, I've got a question for you. I bet you Edward knows.
Yep.
Do either of you know what a pone of cornbread is? Have you ever heard that?
No.
I have not a damn clue, Jeffrey.
Me neither, dude. So I'm sitting at Thanksgiving, eating the dressing, and I'm like, damn, Dad, you did a good job. My mom's always done it, but he cooked it this year. I said, damn, that's good. That's good. I said, how much cornbread did you use? He said, about a pound and a half. I said, what? About a pound and a half cornbread. I thought, what the hell is a pound? Is that something I should know? A pone is, when you cook your cornbread in the skillet and you dump it out, and it's that round That's a pound of cornbread.
Huh.
No idea.
That's new to me.
Never heard that before, but it's true. I looked it up. Corn
How are you-
pone bread.
How are you spelling that?
Pone.
Pone. Okay. That's new to me, but yeah. No doubt.
A corn pone is usually a small round loaf of cornbread. This says about the size of a biscuit. But anything. Let's see. Do we have any more callers?
We have
Yeah, a lot. We were just getting to them.
Okay.
You missed Edward and Carter. Carter let us off.
Mhm.
Carter, the Bama wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the
Hey, did we tell everybody if they needed to find a home in or around Auburn Opelika?
We have you say
Oh.
that, you big dog.
Well, I know people are looking for homes in or around Auburn Opelika, Lee County. Look no further for the help you need. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. She's a 5-star realtor, consensus 5-star realtor.
Yes.
Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Tell her we sent you.
All right, we got Kevin from Wilmer on the line, I believe. Kevin, you're live.
Hey, Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
What's on your mind tonight, Kevin? Let me guess.
How about Cam Coleman?
I like it, Kevin.
Hey, Kevin called all these, man. He
He's
called
been on
all
that.
these.
He has been on it. This might be the first time.
I hope we get Ron Williams next.
I think you're not alone in that.
Yeah. It's not out of the realm of possibility for sure, Kevin.
Yep. If you did not see Perry Thompson's tweet,
Oh, I
he
didn't see
was definitely referring to this was right after Cam Coleman committed. He put 4 out of 5. There's no doubt he's referring to Ryan Williams, in case you had any doubt.
They calling themselves the Freeze 5 right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wilmer is down near Mobile. I did not know that.
You know what? I was wondering where Wilmer was.
It's right in between, like Wilmer is right there between like Sims and
Yeah.
Lucedale, Mississippi.
There you
Correct.
go.
Oh.
I've driven
far-
there.
I was thinking Raymer, and that's why I was telling him the Little Red Schoolhouse. I think
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's not right. It's Wilmer. Wilmer's way
Yeah.
down south. Kevin, you down there by the
Hey.
bay.
Speaking of cornbread, that's that fried cornbread they do. Woo! It's good stuff. Anyway, thank you, Mobile expert Zach. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm here right now. I'm probably 5 minutes away from Wilmer right now, so
Yeah.
right around the corner.
let's talk more for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Guys, and Jeffrey, I saw your note on this. Auburn now has 3, with Cam Coleman's commitment, 3 out of the top 5 players in the state of Alabama. Alabama has 1 of the top 5.
Wow.
Auburn has 4 of the top 10. Alabama has 3. We talked about flipping the script. We've talked about upward trajectory. If that doesn't spell it out for our listeners and subscribers, when you, as a team that has been a 5-7, 6-6 program for the last 2 years, come into the state of Alabama and take 4 out of the top 10 and 3 out of the top 5 over your in-state rival who's going to the playoff, brother, that's saying something on the recruiting front. I mean, that's saying your actions are so loud I can't hear your words type volume.
I was looking at the some of the guys committed up. Auburn could have 5. If they wanted Jaquan McCroy, I have little doubts they could get him if they wanted him.
I think so too.
He's number 10. Sterling Dixon's to Alabama. Joe Phillips to Auburn. Beeman to Alabama for now. Kevin Riley to Miami. Riddick, Thompson, and Cam Coleman. And then Jalen Mbakwe and Jordan Ross are your other 2 top 5s headed elsewhere.
Correct.
Where do you guys think Ryan Williams would fall if he reclassifies?
Top
Number
5.
1?
He's top 5 for sure. I don't know if he's number 1 or not, but I think he'd be pushing for it.
I think he would be rated higher than Perry. I think he would be rated higher than Jordan Ross. I think in the state of Alabama, I think him, Cam Coleman, and Jalen Mbakwe are kind of in a group by themselves.
I agree.
As far as the rankings go, for sure, that seems to be where they're leaning.
Right. Well, good deal, Kevin. Appreciate your call, big dog. Always good to hear from you.
Let's see. 2457. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
How about you? This is Ryan Underwood calling from Leeds, Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Home of Charles Barkley. What you got tonight?
Brother, I'm on. Look, I could care less that Bama made the playoffs. I could care less that Auburn lost a basketball game today. We got Cam Coleman. I'm on cloud nine, gentlemen. I mean, this is the highest rated offensive recruit in Auburn history, and like Jeffrey said, the way it opens up the trajectory of Auburn's passing game with Perry Thompson on one side, Cam Coleman on the other side. Those guys in the slot from Kane to Malcolm Simmons to who knows, Ryan Williams. Can you imagine, man? Just for the sake of doing it, Auburn's first offensive play from scrimmage in 2024 is a no back set, 5 wide with the free 5-5.
Wouldn't that be something?
All out wide, starting the first game of 2024. That'd be awesome, man. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man.
Throw it to him.
Well, brother, I'm gonna hang up. I'm sure there's other callers. I just want to let y'all know, man. I'm fired up about.
I love it, Sky.
Class and
Yeah,
possibility of what I was kind of that tripped me out. The Ryan Williams' reaction to Cam Coleman's commitment and posting that countdown of his big announcement. So, like, I thought you were already committed to Alabama, though. What do you mean, big announcement? So, we're all speculating, but War Eagle, and y'all have a good one. Bye-bye.
Appreciate you, Sky.
love Sky, man. He fires me up, dude. He fires me up.
To temper expectation, though, that announcement that I feel like Ryan Williams is getting ready to make is his reclassification announcement. I don't foresee that's not a him flipping announcement. So it is one piece of the puzzle, though. That's what you need to be looking at. Is that is one piece, the big piece of the puzzle.
That's true. You know what might be a good question? We don't really have a question of the week, but just a good question. What was the time that you believe Auburn football was at its peak of excitement or expectation? And I was just thinking about this while Sky was talking. I think, go back with me to, I think it was 2015. Auburn opened the year with Louisville, right? Was that 2015?
Yes.
Jeremy Johnson had
to Jacksonville State.
Yes, that one. Jeremy Johnson was a dark horse Heisman candidate coming in. First play of the game, I think it's Trey Matthews gets the pick. And I don't think Auburn excitement could have been on another level at that point. What are some other times? I think what I'm saying is, like, the first play of next season might be on that level.
I'm going to go back to my childhood. If you're talking peak excitement, and this is something Jeffrey's probably going to remember, the start of the 1994 year, coming off the 93 season where you went 13-0, and then you beat Florida in the Swamp. I don't think Auburn fans could have been any higher at that point for what they thought was going to happen, only to see it kind of come apart down the stretch there with a tie against Georgia and a loss against Alabama in the Iron Bowl. But when you beat Florida in the Swamp in 94, expectations were through the roof with what Stump Bowden could have done at Auburn.
I think Cole was a year too early I would say because we were coming off of 2013. Nick Marshall was suspended.
Right.
That Arkansas game where Jeremy goes for like 250 and 3 touchdowns in the first half. Nick comes in, scores on the first drive. They go on to beat LSU at home, like 41-7, and then it like all came unraveled against Mississippi State. But to bottle that Arkansas game up, we said Nick Marshall's coming back and Jeremy Johnson's going to win the Heisman the next 3 years. The way he played in that first half.
That's true. That's true.
Right. And E. Moss in the comments wanted to make sure we said that it was Lamar Jackson who threw that pick in that game. Mm-hmm. He actually lined up receiver. It was like a reverse pass or whatever, and he threw the pick to Trey Matthews. I think it was Trey Matthews.
I just remember Carl Lawson getting off in that game until he hurt his hip. I mean, Will Muschamp going nuts on the sideline, high-fiving dudes and screaming press. I mean, it was crazy.
Do y'all foresee that this, let's just say in the first play of next season, do y'all foresee it being that level of, wow, Auburn's going to be good? Is that what y'all are feeling coming on?
Quarterback.
No.
Right.
I'm with you, Jeffrey. If you spend what you could spend in the transfer portal, then, yeah, I think excitement could be there.
If Riley Leonard is your quarterback, yes.
Yeah, there's a couple others in the portal that could fire a lot of people up too.
But based on the chat, there's one name that I think the fan base would be ready to storm the field before he ever threw a pass, and that's Cam Ward. I think I've seen 900 comments tonight about him.
Yeah, he's good.
Would you prefer him over Riley Leonard?
I actually did a quarterback ranking on the site today.
Good.
I had Riley Leonard first, and I had Cam Ward number 2. And I think they're really close, but they are a little bit different in how they play. So, Cam Ward, man, 12,000 yards passing in his career, and go from 6,000. That's double, by the way. That is double. But let me just say, I like Peyton Thorne, and I said that. I thought his stock was up, and I ain't counting this guy out. I'm just not going to do it.
I'm kind of with Cole, though, because I think Cam Ward's the better overall quarterback? Yes, but I do think Riley Leonard fits what Hugh Freeze wants to do better than Cam Ward, if that makes sense. Like, I don't think Cam Ward fits better into the scheme.
Maybe. Go ahead, Jeffrey. I'm sorry.
Real quick, from talking to a lot of people, and I'm sure Jhead, you've heard the same, I feel like personally Hugh Freeze wants Riley Leonard, or at least wanted him. That was kind of his dude. That was his ideal transfer get at quarterback.
Yes. All that being said, Hugh Freeze has shown the ability to win with different kind of quarterbacks, and where Riley Leonard is a better athlete and could be better featured in the quarterback run game, Cam Ward looks a lot like me to Chad Kelly with the way he spins it, the way he gets it out, the precision, the accuracy that he has. And you remember how high octane that offense was with Chad Kelly at the helm going into Tuscaloosa, pulling off that victory, taking Auburn to the edge until was that Bo Wallace when the kid broke his leg down there on the goal line, or was that Chad Kelly's first year?
That was
Bo Wallace, I thought.
That was Bo Wallace, yeah. That was
Chad's first year they beat us. Chad's first year they beat us in Jordan Hare. That's right.
Laquan Treadwell is who you're referring to, right?
That was one of the most underrated Auburn games in Auburn history, though. Like, I don't think people remember how exciting that game was.
Auburn was number 4, and I think Ole Miss was number 3, or maybe it was the other way around, but they were both in the top 5, I believe.
Both top 5, and that was a hell of a showdown in Oxford that night.
No doubt.
But I'm with you, Jeffrey. That was all Tea Leaf said. Yeah, Riley Leonard was number 1 on the board at that point. Now, I don't know that it's necessarily that way right now, but as of a couple of days ago, yeah, he was the dude.
6609, you're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
E96. How you guys doing?
Oh, E96. This is
Oh.
yeah.
A96 as an
Hey,
Albie.
it's hey. There we go.
Okay. This week in
Hey, Cole.
you know what I mean?
Watch your tone, son.
Yeah, I got scolded last time. So hey,
Yeah, no, you're good,
I
man.
just wanted to talk about this wide receiver class. I think I mean, probably this is the best class we've ever signed. I mean, the last one that I can think of was like Obamanu, Aromashu, and Courtney.
Courtney Taylor.
Courtney Taylor, Anthony Mix.
Just one. What was that? Oh yeah, Mix. That's right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm super pumped about the wide receiver class. And my question is, where do I get a sippy cup, Jeffrey? Where do I get a sippy cup like that?
Oh man. I mean, this is customized.
I love big.
That's all I got, guys. War Eagle.
Hey, thank you very much, A96.
A96.
We appreciate your tone.
An improvement from last week.
Yeah.
4085. You're live. Who we talking to? Where you calling from?
You're talking to the wolf.
The
And
wolf.
Stephen Coleman. I just want to come right out and say I'm tired of the belly aching and the wallering because Bama got in the playoff. It ain't nothing different, boys. We're getting 3 out of the top 5 in state, and they were winning anyway. Get over it. I like that Florida State got left out. I want to see the ACC. I think it's saying that ACC is going to die. And they ain't our friends. Florida State fans ain't our friends. Miami ain't our friends. Clemson ain't our friends, but we recruit against them. Let's go ahead and start using that against them. And start getting some of them players and tell them, if you want to go down there and sit and you go undefeated and sit home and an Alabama or an Auburn or a Georgia's going to go with one loss over you, good luck to you. Now, what I want to hear, and I want to wrap this around my bicep so Cole can inject it in my veins. I want to hear about that defensive tackle that I think Keith was alluding to that we might be in on. I want to hear about that kid, that big boy out of North Carolina. Inject it, Cole. Inject it.
Wolf. Okay. You're talking about Amaris Williams.
Yes.
Who is committed to Florida from North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was our friend Keith Niebuhr who interviewed him maybe 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And he said that there was Amaris Williams said there was a mystery team involved. That was his words to Keith. Well, after a little digging around, Keith and I came to the conclusion that it was Auburn that was the mystery team. Did some checking on that, man, and I'm telling you, Auburn's in the mix here. Auburn's definitely in the mix. There is no doubt.
That's what I'm talking about. We can talk about wide receivers, but we got to get all the way around. You give me one of those top 4 quarterbacks in the portal that you were talking about. They're all fits. Don't wait for Grace McCall, Howard, Ward, Riley. You get one of them guys. Hell, all of them threw for nearly 10,000 yards in their career. Bring them in. Throw these boys. And then we get some of these guys like that, and we go down there and tell KJ Bolden and Patterson and all. You don't want to go to the ACC. They're a dying conference. 3 years, they'll be the Pac-12.
Yeah,
They'll be kicked through. It's coming. Chaos is coming.
What I thought was going to be a topic or an opinion I wasn't going to agree with turns out to be not a terrible point. I could see that being something you could use in recruiting. Some clarity real quick on Amaris Williams. He is listed as an edge, I believe, on 3, but Auburn likes him as the Keldrick Falk role. So hand on the ground, 5 technique. And if you look at Auburn's roster, there's not a lot of those guys really. It's really just Keldrick and then put somebody there that may not be a perfect fit.
Is it the same position Jeremiah Beeman, Cole?
You're muted, Jhead. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeremiah Beeman is also that, and so is LJ McCray. So when you're looking at who's left on the D-line board, and we know that they want one of the two of McCray or Beeman, and I think Amaris Williams is now on that level. if we can get him, we're good. These are your 5 techniques. They got to get a 5 technique type.
Well, and think about this, though. Keldrick Falk is a biscuit away from playing inside at the 3 tech.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here, dude.
He's a pone away.
He's a pone away. His body's already leaning towards playing inside. I think he's got about 1 more year playing the 5 tech before he's going to slot inside permanently. So you absolutely have to load up that outside end position to make sure that you have some versatility to swing across the defensive line.
I'm going to be curious, Wolf, if Amaris Williams visits. I will tell you about Amaris Williams. Amaris Williams, I started hearing some buzz about Amaris Williams the week leading up to the Iron Bowl. If you'll remember back to that official visit list or the running list of visitors, and I said some of these guys have asked, or, some to not be named. David Iziomume was one, and I was told Amaris Williams. And I didn't know who Amaris Williams was. Had no idea. Had never heard of him. And so I didn't think much about it.
Sure.
Well, he didn't come, and I thought nothing more about it until Keith and Cole mentioned him this over the weekend. Looking into it, that's the only I think Keith. No, I think the USC somebody had, or the Ohio State site on 3 had a story about Amaris and how Auburn's swinging their NIL. With this, that's what's got them in the game. Let's don't act like it's not. The kid's never visited Auburn, so it's not like, oh, he loves the atmosphere and all this. NIL has him going, hey, I'm listening to this mystery school over here.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm curious to see. We've only got 2 weekends left. Curious to see if he shows up.
It's serious.
It's serious,
right?
Until then, he's just kind of a new name to track.
The interesting thing about him is that, it was almost like a done deal that he was going to flip from Florida to Ohio State.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened for whatever reason. It's one of those deals. Once again, when you feel like intel points towards a guy's going to do something and then it doesn't happen, you realize you might be late to something because it just happens that way sometimes. There's things that go on that you sometimes miss. Why is it taking so long? It's worth questioning every time.
Absolutely.
No, and one other name, obviously, and I don't know how serious we are there, but Charlie Collins.
Yeah, he's in there.
If he officially visits, he's like Amarius Williams to me. Then it's serious.
Right.
If he does an OV, I think, as Jeffrey said, it's just a name that's floating around out there. And then, guys, one other thing at the 5 tech, Wilkie denied. Let's not forget about him. I know he didn't play this year, but that's a body that fits that.
Wilkie, yeah.
Yep.
5812. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from? $5812. You're live.
I think he's listening to the show. Put the phone down.
5002. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Mike from Titusville, Florida. How about you guys?
How about you, Mike? Did he say Titusville?
Titusville.
Man, I've got a few points I want to, and we can either go through like one by one, or I can tell them all, and then I can just hang up.
Digest.
But hey, man, love you guys. Watch your show all the time. War Eagle, and I'll start with this one. The quarterback room. Peyton Thorne. Do you think we've seen the very ceiling of Peyton Thorne? Or
No.
Hugh Freeze is going to make him into that elite quarterback. Maybe that's what he's concentrating on. And if he does, then what happens to Holden Gardner? Is he going to stick around or not? You can either answer, or we can, or I can go on to the next one. What do you? What do you guys think?
I don't know.
Without giving go ahead, Jay.
Go ahead. No, have we seen the ceiling of Peyton Thorne? No, I don't believe that for a second. I think the kid's still developing within the system, whereas, his skill set is what his skill set is. But as far as his feel for the offense and putting some playmakers around him, I think there's still meat on that bone for sure. What's going to happen with Holden Gardner, and are we going to bring
improvement? I think he can be even better.
Go ahead. I was letting you speak, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think he can be better than he is. I feel like we've seen improvement throughout the season on him. I mean, he's using his legs. He's getting out there. How far can he go? What is his ceiling?
And I think that's the question the coaching staff is trying to determine. What is Peyton's ceiling by comparison to some other player that you could bring in? Does another player elevate you by 2 games by comparison to what Peyton can give you? Is it 1 game? What's the cost on NIL? Does it hurt you from being able to upgrade the entire roster? There are a lot of components to this, and that's why it's a hard question to answer of what you're going to do at quarterback. Because while Jeffrey and Cole are phenomenal at what they do, and listen, for anybody who doesn't subscribe to On3, get in there for their recruiting information, Justin Hokinson's team information. They're fantastic. They have all the information at the cutting edge, but they can't predict what Hugh's looking at right now because you just don't know all the factors, right? Like, it's just hard to know all those moving pieces.
Right.
So I would tell you this: if another quarterback comes in, somebody's got to go out, right?
Yeah.
Robbie Ashford cannot transfer right now unless he goes down a level to FCS. That puts a lot of pressure on Holden Gardner and or Hank Brown to say, hey, man, I really want to stick around for this. And I just don't know how that's going to shake out. Are they up to, hey, let's go through spring and see where I stand? Or do they say, you know what, I need to look elsewhere? And that I don't know those kids well enough to predict, hey, this is how they're going to react.
Yeah, I don't either.
Oh, well, that kind of rolls right into my next one is now that we have Cam Coleman. Do you think Cam Coleman will have a role in deciding who the next quarterback is? Like, who do I work the best with?
No.
I don't think so. I wouldn't think so. I'll put it that way.
I think, look, I think a lot of things get said in recruiting, but to give a player that kind of latitude would lose you a locker room in a heartbeat. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
He's not that good.
Right. I mean, he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a next level type dude, but you don't come in calling your shots when you've never even taken a snap on the college level. Like, that just doesn't happen.
Jhead, I'll tell you what else will lose a locker room: playing all your games and winning them, and then not making the playoff. That hurts.
I don't think Norvell lost his locker room. I think they're going to come out.
Hey, how about next year when you go into the first game of the year? Hey, guys, it don't matter. If you win today, who cares? Don't worry about it.
I'm with you, except for the 12-team playoff fixes that.
Right, exactly.
If they go undefeated, they're in, right?
Which is the main point. But anyway, Mike, sorry about that.
Hey, no, man, I want to hear you. This other point, this is just imagine if we would have beat Georgia and Alabama, and that was close. How would that have shaken up everything?
Yeah,
it changes the whole landscape of college football. I mean, lost to Georgia. Georgia's irrelevant in this conversation. You beat Alabama, and Alabama goes on to beat Georgia. There's not an SEC team in the playoff right now. I mean, it changes the entire paradigm. But as my granddad always said, man, close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing, brother. So you got to get a win. Like,
right.
It's good to hypothesize about what was close or what could have happened. I want to see what's going to happen. And that's kind of where my thought is.
Okay. And my last point is I agree with the committee. I don't think FSU should be in there. I don't think honestly, I don't think FSU could beat Oregon, Washington, Georgia, or Alabama. And I'm gonna end with that and hang up. Thanks, guys, man. Love your show and worry.
Appreciate you, Mike. Sure do, big dog. Really do.
I definitely agree with that, Mike. And that's why there has to be a 12-team playoff.
But did you think
the conference has been locked?
Washington was going to beat Oregon this weekend? Like, did anybody predict that on their?
Was good, dude.
Yeah,
I agree, but they were a 9-point dog to Oregon. Vegas didn't have that one picked. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just tough to beat somebody twice, but man, I mean, their offense is powerful.
I mean, Bama was a dog to Georgia. I didn't have Bama beating Georgia in that game. You know what I mean? So I think when people get into it's a slippery slope, man, to say, hey, there's no way Florida State would win that game. Did anybody say TCU was going to beat Michigan last year? I sure as hell didn't.
No.
So to say what Florida State could or couldn't do, to me, that's just, that's what ifs, man.
It is.
Cole, are you of the belief that Florida State should have gotten in?
Yeah, for a 14 playoff, which I think is ridiculous anyway. If you're gonna do such a ridiculous playoff system, then yes, I think Florida State needs to be in because there is a principle at stake with winning your games. I mean, you tell a team that already coaches are having trouble motivating their players, and I've gone on this soapbox 100 times. You tell them, hey guys, they're gonna know in the back of their mind, if we beat this team first week of the season, it's not even being counted anymore. At the end of the year, when they're deciding a 4-team playoff, which is silly to me, they might not even count that win. Doesn't matter. How do you motivate a team when they're thinking that?
Well, it should have never been 4 when you've got 5
No.
power conferences.
No.
Agreed. Jeffrey. It should have been 6 or 8 to begin with. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
That's the way.
5 conferences with maybe a play-in from that number 6 for that 6th spot, maybe
Right.
a wild card or something, or even number 1 gets a first-round bye and 2 plays 5 and 3 plays 4, and then they, I don't know how to do it, but something like that. That 4 team was dumb. It was even dumber than the BCS, if that's possible. I don't know if that. Yeah.
I honestly don't think the BCS would have been that bad if you would have had a multi-team playoff. The only problem with the BCS is that you only had 2 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine the 12-team playoff. Like I wouldn't have any problem with the BCS.
No.
I just want y'all, every time this is brought up, I want y'all to remember church league softball. Can't figure it out. Stick in the sand.
1406. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Josh from Birmingham. How are you guys tonight?
What's up, Josh?
Doing good. So our old buddy Potato Head potentially could be coming back to Auburn next year as the New Mexico head coach.
Yep. Saw that.
And I hope they hire him. If there's a God, he needs a sense of humor, and they hire him, and Hugh lays 60 on them. But we've already hit one thing I wanted to talk on tonight was the D-line recruiting. But portal QBs, of the ones that's in there, who are some guys that we can realistically get? And then the last question is Zach Etheridge. I know he has connections with Willie Fritz. He married his daughter. So it's his father-in-law. He's going to Houston. Is he going to try to pull Zach over as like a DC? Appreciate it, guys. I'll hang up and listen.
As far as what I'll comment on Zach, not as a DC, it's already on record that Willie Fritz is going to take Shiel Wood as DC from Tulane. Could he lure Zach for another position on that staff? I think that's within the realm of possibility. I don't know of anything just yet, but I'm not saying that that's, not something that could happen, but that's projecting and just spitballing, man. That's nothing. That's not hard fact right now.
Yep.
Quarterbacks.
Let's talk about who does Auburn realistically have a shot at? I think is what the question was.
Yeah.
I want to go look at Cole. If you haven't read Cole's story today, I thought it was a fantastic job by Cole. He took the quarterbacks that are in there now.
Yes.
Ranked them from 1 to 5, realistic chances included. I mean, he took that into consideration when naming these guys, and then listed them and ranked them. And Cole it was Riley Leonard, it was Cam Ward, it was
Grayson McCall's in there.
Yes.
Will Howard from Kansas State and Will Rogers from Mississippi State. And I put those 5 because I think those 5 is, if Auburn's going to get a quarterback from the portal, it's going to need to be those caliber guys. I don't think they stoop below a caliber level from those guys. Because I think they do like Peyton Thorne. You know,
No,
I meant to tell this to Mike. I think it was Mike earlier, but listen, I was hard on Peyton Thorne a lot this year,
mhm.
and I'm going, man. What if Peyton Thorne had the wide receivers, even if it was just 4 true freshmen? If those 4 true freshmen a year from now are playing, how different are his numbers? How different are people's opinions on him? Don't get me wrong. He made his mistakes, and he's a first-year guy who showed up in July, right? But, man, he got very little help.
I'm glad you asked, Jeffrey.
Cool.
6,000 yards.
Yeah, when you
Keon Coleman.
Yeah.
Keon Coleman, Jalen Reed. Keon Coleman's going to be a first rounder, second rounder, something like that. Jalen Reed, second rounder. And he had 6,000 yards.
There you go. There you go. And when those guys drop passes, you lose a little bit of confidence, and you're a little timid to maybe throw it. So I wouldn't be opposed to hearing Peyton Thorne. You know what I mean? Like with those wide receivers.
I mean, if you have those wide receivers, I mean, his stats are probably at least 500 to 1,000 yards better. Do you think? I mean, I think that's a realistic expectation of 500 to 1,000 yards worth of difference. And how many games does that win us? I mean, look at the Iron Bowl. Look at the catches that Rivaldo dropped. You know what I mean?
How about this question? Take all the drops. Take 50% of the drops and say they were catches. How much better does he look? Just 50%.
Mm.
And how much does that change the offensive, the play calling, the game planning,
everything?
It puts everything on the table, right? So you're not boxed into one or two things that you're trying to accomplish on offense.
And that was the one position. I mean, listen, the offensive line wasn't spectacular, but it wasn't a liability for most of the season. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it was. I mean, I think it was a reliability.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
So the tight ends were fantastic.
Yep, they were.
Running backs were fantastic. The lone position that held the offense back was wide receivers.
Yeah. And if you look at the playoff right now, all of those teams, minus Michigan, we'll see how they fare against a team that has a good passing attack like Alabama. They all have good passing attacks. Michigan's not quite that team. They're a little more of, ground and pound, efficient. We're going to be efficient when we throw the football rather than taking shots on you all the time. But it's very important. If you want to be one of the best teams in college football, you've got to have a good passing attack, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And by the way, they're looking at Peyton Thorne and going, now you showed us something in the Iron Bowl. You showed us a little toughness and grit and made some pretty good throws. I mean, he put it right in Javaris Johnson's hands. The Rivaldo Fairweather throw over the middle was a little soft, but catchable. Should have been caught. I mean, those two throws right there make his QB rating shoot up sky high in that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And he keeps the ball clean for the most part, and that's the other thing that's important about him. But what they're doing is they're looking at him and going, they're looking at him, matching him up with better weapons, and then they're looking at the portal and going, now, is there anybody out there that can be better than this? Realistically.
If he's your ceiling in the quarterback room, is there anybody that can raise it?
Sure.
Yeah.
You're always looking to do that for every single position on your team.
And I'll say this, there are guys that are not in the portal that will be in the portal.
Right.
So look, this board is what it is right now, but stand by for changes. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. This time next week, that story might include 4 or 5 different new names.
It might.
5812. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from? (5812). You're live.
This is Lance calling from Warrior. I was wondering with the.
Just listen to the phone, Lance, not the TV or whatever you're watching. Just the phone.
Y'all hear me now?
We got you.
Okay, sorry. Having phone problems apparently. Anyway, I was wondering with the FSU snub or the ACC snub with the BCS, I know we're going to a 12-team playoff, but like the caller said a couple of calls back about the ACC maybe going the way of the Pac-12, do you think that helps us with KJ Bolden and with Saquon Patterson? And would we take both of them if both wanted in the boat? And I know Cole went to the Clay Chalkville Parker game and was wondering if he thought we were making any headway with Jeremiah Beeman and the Alford kid. And thank you, and I'll hang up and listen.
All right, Lance. Yeah, I did. I went to the Clay Chalkville Parker game, and I don't know. You know, man, Jeremiah Beeman is interesting. I asked him 3 weeks ago because I actually went to a Parker game 3 weeks ago too. I did get to talk to him then and asked him, you know, what about your Alabama commitment? What's the latest on your Alabama commitment? He said, I'll have to get back to you on that, which I thought was interesting. It was an interesting answer to that question, and then we went on and asked some other things. But I just don't know exactly where his mind is with this, because he keeps you guessing, and that's, you know, credit to him. I think Auburn has a little bit of confidence, but I don't feel the overwhelming confidence like I have maybe with Cam Coleman or Perry Thompson at times. You know, some of these guys that they were able to get, DeMarcus Riddick. So we'll see. You know, signing day, there's still 17 days until signing day. That is a long time. A long time.
You muted.
Muted.
Maybe that was an omen. Maybe I should shut my mouth. Just got some. Listen, and I thought it was relevant because of what Cole said about 10 minutes ago about if something keeps delaying commitments and announcements and stuff like that, there's a reason for it. Well, favor Edwin. It's a perfect example of that. He was at the Iron Bowl. He was going to commit the next few days. He didn't. Then he was going to talk to the coaches Friday night, and then he was going to make his decision. Then I actually told Cole, when was it, Friday maybe? Favor's committing Monday. Well, I just learned that he's no longer committing Monday.
Yep.
Remember that dude was going to announce in mid-November, back when he left his official visit?
Yes.
Then he was going to do it after his Clemson visit, and then he was going to do it after the Iron Bowl. Then he was going to do it on Monday, and now he's not doing it, and he's going to meet with Bama on Tuesday.
Okay.
So, yeah, that probably won't be a positive move on the hot board come Monday morning.
No, I can't imagine that it would.
Cole, we'll talk about that later. I thought it was interesting what you asked me about. I'm curious to hear more on that, but
Yep. Anyway,
follow this up.
Yeah.
4295. You're live. Sorry we had to bring you in off the back of that news, but who we talking to? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Wardan Eagle. I'm in Texas.
It sounds like he's a geriatric.
How you doing, Jeffrey? It's weird. I don't think I sound so old. I'm kind of middle aged, honestly.
Geriatric.
Man, you're good, man. Again, half the board thought I was 76. You know what I mean? Until they saw me on the podcast.
How many grandkids Jhead got? That's what somebody asked me.
It really was, dude.
I said him and Wardan had been down at the bingo parlor.
That's great. Oh no, sir. Maybe at a poker room, not bingo. But anyway, well, so that's a little bit of a kick in the teeth there to deliver up before. But my question was this, and maybe we'll need it more now. Freeze is savvy about announcements, and he's savvy about the media, I think. And with him popping Cam Coleman beforehand, I know that was probably to get his moment too a little bit, but do you think that means good news for Auburn people that, hey, there's going to be some more sizzle left on the meat, coming National Signing Day, just reading the tea leaves?
I'm going to let Jeffrey and Cole talk on that, but I don't think Freeze orchestrated that one. I thought that was Cam Coleman's timing, but I could be wrong. Okay, I could be completely wrong on that.
We're talking about the timing of Cam Coleman's commitment.
Yes.
I'll say this. I would be surprised if there was not some kind of big announcement or fireworks on signing day. It just seems like that's a day where you need to have a big headline.
I agree with that. I think they're going to go for a big flip on signing day. I'm just as far as the logistics around Cam when he pulled the trigger, I don't know. I mean,
You know what I first thought? Cole and I got about a 30-minute heads up on that. And
yeah, maybe even less, but it was a good heads up nonetheless.
Yeah. So and I thought, wow, because he had been adamant behind closed doors that he was going to wait until after his season. That's what he was telling folks.
Yep.
Wait until after the season. Then when he does commit, he says, hey, you know, I think he told Auburn on Wednesday, and this was Friday. So he waited until Friday. Was it Friday? Friday afternoon?
Yeah, it was because I was in traffic going to the Parker football game.
So, and I thought, why now? And at the time, I thought this was a lot of that transfer portal stuff was going on behind the scenes.
Sure.
And I thought, I wonder if Hugh is using this maybe as some an enticement.
Sure.
Maybe a leverage move of, hey, you know, we can't offer you that, but look what I can offer you. Stud wide receivers across the board.
Yep.
So that was just a thought.
Sure.
No idea if that holds any water, but that was some of the thoughts that I had. Like, this is weird.
No, I'm with you, Jeffrey. Look, you guys are in sync with this and have different thoughts than I do. That was just like the first thought that came to me is, now this is Cam Coleman just trying to be Cam Coleman and do his thing when he wanted to.
Yeah, out of the blue.
Yeah, like that was the way his first commitment went down, and my gut reaction was, this is the way he wanted his second one to go down.
All right. Well, I hope we didn't miss anybody else. Want to apologize for being a little late to the show, but we're going to be back if we can make it work this week, guys. We're going to start doing two recruiting shows. We're going to try to do, instead of one on Wednesday, we're going to try to do one on Tuesday and one on Thursday. With all the recruiting information going on, the portal opens officially tomorrow on Monday. You know, who's going in from Auburn. We can discuss all that. I think it's all recruiting related. I think anything transfer portal is related to recruiting because it means there's another spot. There's another scholarship to fill if Auburn's losing guys. So we'll be back Tuesday. We'll do it again Thursday. I got a special deal for you guys. All you YouTube, all our YouTube watchers and listeners, dude. If you've been thinking about Auburn Live on 3, I know we've got some people signed up from here before, but I've got a special promo for you, man. For all you guys, this is just for you guys. If you go $1, so you know we've got the $1 for 1 month, right?
Mm-hmm.
All our YouTube people get $1 for 2 months, bro. $1 for 2 months, man. Listen to your promo code is capital A, capital U, the number 1, AU1. Use that promo code and you'll get 2 months for $1. And that'll carry you through almost to the second signing day. I guarantee you by the time your 2 months runs out, you'll be ready to keep going. You'll be ready.
I mean, that is theft to get that kind of a deal this close to National Signing Day.
Yeah.
Dude, you know how many college kids you would have hooked back at, like, Cole would have been done, son.
Yeah. Well, I told him, I said, we got the best YouTube people, man. The bot, the comments, the listeners, the watchers, man, the callers, and they were like, let's do something for them. So here you go. Auburn Live on 3. Go to Auburn Live on 3. Use the code AU1, all caps, no spaces. $1 for 2 months, man. Huge special offer there for our YouTube watchers and listeners.
And the thing about it too, Jeffrey, and all y'all that have not signed up with us, a lot of the people that are with us on the board, this is like a rundown for them. They've already read all of this. They already know all the info. Y'all are getting it secondhand. They already got it. Okay. So that's where the magic happens, man.
Yep. Our subscribers kind of know. Well, the favorite Edwin, that'll be on the board in about 3 minutes ago, I bet.
It's already made it over there.
Well, that's the kind of stuff you're going to get Auburn Live on 3 minutes. I'm telling you, no better time than right now, because you've got 2.5 weeks signing day. This is going to be loaded, dude. What's going to be more interesting, not more interesting, but just as interesting to me, is like who doesn't and what moves Auburn makes to fit. Like we're seeing right now. Is there a little bit of concern? Well, what if Jeremiah Beeben doesn't flip? Who are we going to get? Also, Zach said, for me, that's where it is. These new names, they talk about popping up. Well, that's kind of fun to me. New games, Charlie Collins and people like that. Zach in the back says only 40 subs from 8,000, man, on that YouTube channel, Auburn Live YouTube channel. Y'all are on it right now. Go click subscribe if you haven't already. That helps us out tremendously. It really does. And then hit those notifications, because we're going to be cranking out content all week on the YouTube channel. Tuesday again, Thursday again, then we'll be back Sunday for the call-in show. Big weekend next weekend. We've got at least 2 official visitors. I expect that to be.
Did we lose Jeffrey?
Uh-oh. Hotel Wi-Fi dropping out.
Oh, I know, right? Gets the best of us.
He looks like he smells something bad right now.
A little bit.
You know what I bet happened? I bet his computer died, because that's what happened one time when he did that.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, that's it, guys. Appreciate everybody that called in, man. We appreciate y'all. Definitely take advantage of the AU1 promo code YouTube. 2 months free. Excuse me, $1. Sorry. 2 months for $1. Almost free. Close enough. And come join us, man. We got a growing community over there. It's awesome at Auburn Live for sure. So for Jhead, for Jeffrey, for Zach in the back, see you.